It's coffee time, it's coffee time, it's the One Pot Chef drinking coffee in time. And that's still crap. Welcome to Coffee Time, the monthly chat show here on the OnePotChefBlog where I answer questions sent in by you. And if you've got a question for the next edition of Coffee Time, all you need to do is leave it in the comments section underneath this video on YouTube. Alright, let's get into this month's questions. First question comes from Kelsey80. Hi David, with your taste test videos, a score of 10 out of 10 is very rare. What qualities would make a perfect score? Sometimes you score things that you love a 9. How do you get a perfect 10? Well, I guess it's hard to define. I think I've only scored a couple of things of 10 out of 10, and I think it's just got that combination of flavours and textures, and it just gives you that sort of feeling when you have it in your mouth and you go, oh, yummy. I don't know, it's hard to define, but I very rarely score things a 10, so if something gets a 10, it's pretty special. Dubermanaldi, could you please do a Draw My Life? Actually, I've had a lot of people ask me to do Draw My Life, and I did actually try to do it. Unfortunately, it took forever. It was so hard, and it was really, I tried to plot it out, and to be honest, it was kind of depressing. Like, I haven't had the greatest sort of past, and I sort of was finding it difficult to sort of put a rosy sort of thing on it. So I thought, nah, halfway through the idea, I just sort of went, you know what, I'm going to have to lie to make this sort of entertaining, and I just thought there's no point in doing it if I'm going to do that. So yeah, I kind of abandoned it. So that, and I'm a really bad drawer. I am not a graphic designer in any way, so I'll just stick to making cooking videos, I think. Jimmy Chillo 3, hello there. Firstly, I want to thank you for your being such a great inspiration, and you are one of the people who've inspired me to start a cooking channel, which I'll be launching this summer, called Pesca Foodie. I can't wait to see this. Now, my question is, what's your favourite seafood, your favourite spice to use, favourite vinegar, and favourite vegetable? I seriously can't thank you enough for teaching me how to cook and appreciate food. Well, thank you very much, Jimmy. Okay, so favourite seafood. I'm not a big seafood eater, as I have a bit of a seafood intolerance. It kind of makes me feel ill after eating it, but I love a nice piece of white fish just grilled, little bit of lemon or maybe a little bit of garlic in it. Absolutely gorgeous. Favourite spice to use? Ooh. Probably cinnamon or nutmeg. I think I do a fair amount of baking, and when it comes to sort of making something really have that beautiful sort of baked flavour, something like cinnamon and nutmeg really do sort of just make something go pop. I love it. And I put cinnamon in my banana bread, and it's always astonishing. Favourite vinegar? I don't think anyone's ever asked me that before. I can't say I use a lot of vinegar, but if I do, I tend to use white vinegar, and I think it's probably my favourite vinegar, if I have a favourite vinegar, only because it's good for cooking, it's good for cleaning, it's good for cleaning out your pipes in the kitchen. I mean, it's pretty multifunctional and it's cheap, so that's good stuff. Favourite vegetable? I'm going to be boring. I'm going to say carrots. I love carrots. I love honeyed carrots. They're absolutely beautiful, but really just big plate of carrots, I'd be happy. Like Lunch Boy, do you have a favourite soft drink? If so, what? Mine is Coke. I like Coke too. I don't know. I've been drinking a lot of red creaming soda recently, like sort of raspberry flavour. I love that sort of thing, but it's ludicrously sweet. I tend to go for citrus flavours, things like sort of a lemon squash type thing, or Mountain Dew before they added all the caffeine and weird shit to it. Like, I don't know why they changed Mountain Dew to do that. Like, it's just very strange. But yeah, anything sort of citrus I'm happy with. Laszlo Kavivi. Hello, David. I have a comment and a question. First, I wanted to thank you for the veggie burger recipe you recently published. What a delicious concoction. Oh, thank you very much. Second, would you consider doing an episode of the One Pot Chef devoted to kebabs? Thanks for doing what you're doing. Do you mean kebabs as in kebab sticks, or do you mean kebabs as in like the big kebab that you carve up and put on flatbread and wrap up? If it's the one on sticks, I'd definitely be able to do that. The other one is a little trickier because obviously I don't have that apparatus to make the giant kebab thing and carve it up and whatnot, but generally they're done at home on barbecues, and I actually don't have one. I don't have a barbecue. We did have one years ago, but that was my partner's domain, and it sort of just fell into neglect and disuse and eventual destruction. So I suppose you could sort of make a similar type thing with, instead of actually making the whole kebab and carving it up like that, you could probably do it with sort of marinating some shaved beef perhaps, or something like that. I don't know. I'll have a look into it and see what I can come up with. Chibi Fighter. Do you have a favourite spicy cheese? And are you planning on making a cooking video on how to make any spicy cheese dips? Not major fan of spicy cheeses. I'm not a big fan of cheeses that have bits in it, like sort of have been sort of flavoured or things like that. I prefer just a regular plain cheese. As God intended. As God intended. But spicy cheese dip sounds very interesting. I think I'll add that to my maybe pile and see what I can come up with, because I do love dips, and I've been meaning to do a dip recipe. Ugh, get my tongue working. Been meaning to do a dip recipe for a while, so I'll see what I can do. Very77. Do you have any other pets other than your cat? Do you live in a flat or a house? How long have you lived there? I don't have any other pets except for Topaz, and to be honest, I'm quite happy with that because she's enough of a handful as it is. I don't think I can handle any more at this point. I live in a house, and we've lived there for just over 2 years, roughly, I think. Yeah, this is the first house I've lived in for quite a long time. We've mostly lived in flats and townhouses and things like that, so it's nice to have a proper house. Rosie Freckle. Have you ever made truffles with Philadelphia cheese? They are so good. Here in England we have milkshake bars where you can go to get any sweetie you can think of blended into milk, from cream eggs to strawberry cheesecake. Do you have those in Australia? What milkshake would you get? Okay, truffles with Philadelphia cheese. I assume you mean like the chocolate truffle type things. If you go to my cooking channel, I've actually got something that's called chocolate Christmas balls. And what it is, it's crushed cookies, chocolate cookies, mixed with Philadelphia cream cheese and then rolled into balls and dipped in milk chocolate. Absolutely astonishing. I make them every Christmas and they are a huge hit. As for what you're describing with the milkshake bars, we don't have that exactly. We have milk bars and they do milkshakes, but nothing quite like that, at least as far as I know. But we do have a chain of ice cream shops, and what they do is that it's a similar process to what you're describing, is that they've got this big sort of variety of chocolates and sweets and things like that, and you pick out the ones you want, and they put the ice cream, like this vanilla ice cream or whatever flavour you want, onto this block of marble. And you put your ice cream on, they put the things you've chosen to put into it, and they use these metal spatulas to smash everything into it and mix it all about, and the marble is cold so it keeps the ice cream sort of from melting. And they mix it all together and they scoop it into a cup or a cone or whatever. And it's a very similar thing to what you're describing. Obviously they do it with ice cream instead of milkshake. But yeah, I haven't been there for ages and I haven't done that. I really must go there sometime. Giving me bad ideas. But hello, a strawberry cheesecake milkshake sounds awesome. I did make that lemon cheesecake milkshake ages ago, and that was really, really good, but my God, that's bad for you. Yeah, now you give me bad ideas. I think I have to go out to Cold Rock Ice Cream and have a smash. Plates 81. Which college did you go to? I didn't go to college. I finished high school and I went straight into full-time employment. I didn't have any specific plans for going on to higher education. I think I was kind of burnt out after the whole high school experience, and I already had a fair idea of what I wanted to do. I wanted to work in retail and work in food, and so going on to higher education really wasn't a priority for me because I wasn't really looking to go into a professional field. So, but that being said, I do wonder what my life would have been like if I had gone on to university after high school. I wonder sort of what would have happened. But then again, I probably wouldn't be doing this if I had. So, and I quite enjoy this, so that's good. Miss Spark 111. Will you be doing a bacon and egg pizza recipe video? Oh, because I mentioned this in the other video. That's right, the bacon and egg pizza. I suppose I could. I hadn't really thought about making one before. I've always ordered it. It's sort of, yeah, like maybe I could. Although, I must admit, bacon and egg pizza really divides people in Australia. It's like, you either love it or you hate it. And I'm one of the few people in my circle that does like it. So, I don't know. I'll see what I can do. Guitar Keys 4. Love your coffee time videos. Pretty silly question, but what are your thoughts on Subway and the quality and taste of their subs? Would you deem them healthy? Also, do you like rocket salad? I find it bitter has a bitter aftertaste. Yeah, I agree with rocket salad. It does have a bitter aftertaste. I'm not a big fan of rocket. It's sort of meh. Like it has that sort of bitter, sort of peppery, aniseedy flavour, and I don't really like it. I mean, I'll eat it if it's there, but it wouldn't be my first choice. As for Subway, I haven't had Subway personally for about a year or so. The local Subway kind of made me a bit ill. Gave me food poisoning. It was not fun. But up until that sort of issue, I was always a big fan of Subway. I don't think it's absolutely perfect, but I think when you compare it to some other fast food chains, it's certainly a better option. I mean, they've got lots of veggies to put onto sandwiches and stuff like that, and they don't charge per ingredient you put on there, so whatever you order, you can have as much salad on there as you want, and I think that's a good concept. As I said, yeah, but I haven't had it for about a year or so. I think it's just sort of, I'm a bit wary of going there again, but I'll probably will go back eventually. It's just sort of, the last time I was so ill, I was like ill for like 4 days, and it was worse because it was the night before I was due to get on the plane to go and visit my friend Nico in Perth. And trust me, flying for 6 hours on a plane to go to the other side of the country when you've got massive food poisoning, not fun. Orion. You should totally do a cooking with Topaz video. Almost every cooking video I do is a cooking with Topaz video because she's usually hiding in the corner or rubbing up against the tripod when I'm trying to film, and I try to sort of put her outside when I'm filming because she can go out and play while I do this and she's not disrupting me, but she's not the most affectionate cat, and I don't know how I'll be able to integrate her into a cooking video because short of cooking her. Anyone for cook Kitty in a crock pot? Erin Rice. Wanted to let you know I absolutely love your videos and blogs. You are very entertaining. Oh, thank you. My question is, if you had to lose one of your senses, which one would you live without? Oh, goodness. I could probably do without my sense of smell because, like, there are some pretty nasty smells around at the moment, particularly because it is winter here at the moment in Australia, and because the temperature's dropped about half a degree. I haven't had enough coffee today. Because the temperature's dropped like about half a degree, everyone in the street is now burning wood in their wood fires, and it makes the whole street stink because, like, some of them are burning treated wood, which is toxic. Some of them are just using it as like an incinerator and chucking their garbage into it. It's weird. I hate wood fires. I cannot stand them, and it sort of settles in the street, and you get this haze all through the street. It's disgusting. They should be banned. But what was the question again? Oh, yeah, which sense could I do with that? Yeah, because smell. I could totally do without that at the moment. Mandy Dalton, have you tried Greek yogurt and do you like it? I use it fairly regularly. I don't eat it by itself because it's kind of, bland. But I tend to use it in sauces. I tend to put it in things that are spicy to try and sort of calm them down a bit and make it a bit creamy. It's good for dips. There's lots of things you can do with it. I like it. Richard McGinty. 32 gig of DDR3 RAM, that's monstrous. Are you sure you read that correctly? Oh, that's from the specs on my computer from last video. Yeah, that's correct, 32 gig of DDR3 RAM. A lot of people think that's insane, but you have to take into context that I use this computer to do a ridiculous amount of video editing, and so I tend to thrash computers if they don't have enough RAM in them. And I don't want to have to replace my computer every sort of 12 months or so. I'd rather sort of let it last a little longer than that. And with the extra RAM in there, it means that video transcoding and transfers and all that sort of stuff tend to go a lot quicker. So it sort of is an investment in time for me, so that it saves me a lot of time and a lot of hassle. Curtis P. Do you have any revenge stories or anecdotes, and if not, why not? I don't think I have any revenge stories, and why not? Because, to be honest, like, if anybody in my life is sort of worthy of my vengeance, the best revenge is just to sort of put them in a box and ignore them, to be honest, because I tend to sort of just get on with my life, because I think there's an old saying, the best revenge is success, and that tends to be my sort of philosophy. Sort of like I could waste a bunch of time making somebody else miserable for making me miserable, or I could just get on with my life and ignore them. So that works for me, I think. Kate Yun, have you tried kimchi? No, I haven't actually. I think I was talking about this in another video. Is like I've wanted to try Korean food, but there isn't a lot of Korean restaurants around where I live. So, in fact, I don't think there are any at all. The closest would probably be down in Sydney, and I don't fancy driving 150 kilometres in order to get some Korean food. I think maybe the next time I'm in Sydney, I'll try and find some. But yeah, it'd be good if they opened a Korean restaurant, because I've heard Korean food is fantastic, and I'd really love to try it. Although I don't know if it's Korean or not. I think I remember seeing a show where they were showing these Korean restaurants in Korea. Well, I suppose they're just restaurants in Korea. But they had, like, little octopuses that were still alive, and they chopped them up, and they still move even though they're chopped up in little bits, and they were sort of, like, curling them around. Like, the little suckers were curling around the chopsticks, and they were getting stuck in people's throats. And I'm going, I don't want that. I hope that's not kimchi. Ninja Dude 1021, hello. What would you rather have a photo of you posing with to make a fancy portrait of yourself? Oh, this is going to be hell. Flapjack and a cigarette, cigar and a waffle, pipe and a crepe, or bong and a blitz. In case you were wondering, this comes from Austin Powers in Goldmember. Yes, I know. A pipe and a crepe, I think. I think I'd look rather distinguished with a pipe. Motor City James 100. Have you ever been arrested? The charges were dropped. I had an alibi. Next question. From Motor City James 100 again. What do you think about, or what did you think about America? What did you notice that was different from that in Australia? Did you like anything about the US? I actually really enjoyed my time over in America. I actually had a lot of fun over there, although admittedly the first day or so was a massive culture shock. I think I've talked about this in another video, but like after like 30 hours of travel, I was jet lagged. I was so tired. I was at the point where I was barely able to see straight, and it was like being on another planet, because like all the cars had the steering wheels on the wrong side, and they were driving on the wrong side of the road. The light switches are all upside down. All the plug, like PowerPoints, the things where you put the plugs in look different. It's weird, and it throws you initially. But that being said, I had a lot of fun over there. I had a great time wandering around the big malls that you've got over there. There was one at, I think it's called Culver City, and in Los Angeles, and that was huge, that place. And I remember going into the Five Guys burger place there and having lunch, and it was absolutely fantastic. And generally I had a great time over there. As I said, there was a couple of issues the first couple of days, but yeah, everything's sort of a little odd when you go over there, because like it's been the first time I've been overseas in like 20 years, so it was a bit of a culture shock, but I had fun. I did enjoy it over there. As a Productions ML, currently, what is your favourite 80s movie, and what is the weirdest flavour of chips you have ever tasted or seen? I have seen everything from burnt fillet and gravy to lamb and mint. Well, the chip thing, I remember years ago seeing a limited edition thing of, sorry, potato chips, as in crisps, for just to clarify for some people. I remember seeing a limited edition flavour. It was haggis flavoured. And yeah, I don't actually recall if I actually tried it or not, but that was pretty odd. And I was like, oh wow, they really have sort of pretty much every flavour now, don't they? As for favourite 80s movie, it begins and ends with The Breakfast Club. There's no question. It's a masterpiece. It was a brilliant film. It's dreadful clothes and totally overacted and fantastic. I could watch it 1,000 times. Frumpy Friend 39, what is your all-time favourite candy? Oh, I don't really know. It's one of those things that sort of... My tastes change quite frequently, but I remember somebody sent me a limited edition flavoured Twix, which was coffee flavoured. Coffee flavoured Twix. I think it was called Twix Java, and I think it was from America or Canada. I can't quite remember now. But I have done everything in my power to try and find another one of those, because they were astonishingly yummy. But again, limited edition, they were gone practically by the time somebody had sent them to me, and that was it. It was gone, and I hope they bring it back, because it was absolutely lovely. But other than that, yeah, I like the original Twix, and I like the Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. I have to avoid buying those, though, because I could sit there and eat just like, nom, 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 nom. They're addictive. Uh-oh, here comes trouble. Junkie Net, hello, darling. Why are you so good looking? Because, my dear, life is unfair. Oh, this is the product of two gorgeous parents. Oh, honey, why do you ask these questions? Next question. Emmy Gallen. I have two questions. If you were a porn star, what would your porn star name be? And two, when you drive through the Australian countryside, are koalas as ubiquitous there as deer are in the United States? P.S. I enjoy asking bizarre questions. I'm not sure how ubiquitous deer are in the United States. I didn't see any when I was over there, but then again, I'm sure there probably aren't many deer in Los Angeles. Koalas are pretty much nocturnal. They sleep for about 20 hours a day and are only generally active at night. So it's very rare to actually see them during the day. You might occasionally see one high in a tree, asleep cuddled up against a branch, but they're very rare to actually see. We've got one in the tree outside. I've never actually seen it, but I've heard it at night because you can hear them growl. They have this very loud sort of growl. But, yeah, I've never actually seen it. He must be so high in the tree that you can't see him, and he sort of hides behind the leaves and whatnot. But I'd love to try and get a shot of him just to see what he looks like. But, yeah, they're very hard to spot. What was the other question? If I was a porn star, what would your porn star name be? Oh, I don't know, the One Cock Chef. I really just said that, didn't I? The One Cock Chef. Oh my god, Coffee Time gets more demented every month. I blame you people. I think we'll move on from that one. S91. Do you like French macarons? If so, can you please make a video? Haven't tried them. If you haven't tried them, do so immediately. My favourite is salted caramel. Ooh, I like salted caramel. I've never actually tried a French macaron. It's like one of those sort of food fads that I'm always about 2 years late on, like cake pops. I only tried cake pops very recently, and I actually made a video about it very recently, but macarons, I've got several friends on YouTube who make cooking videos, and I've heard their war stories of trying to do French macarons, and it's kind of put me off a bit, but I'm tempted to give it a go and see how they come out. But yeah, I've seen them in shops, and I see how pretty they can be, and I'm just there going, I'm not sure if I could make them look that pretty, but I'll see what I can do. Scooby MC7, what camera do you use in your videos? I can never remember. It's got like a long number on it, but this is my camera that I use for the cooking videos. It is a Sony HDR PJ760, and this is it, basically. It's sort of enormously, ridiculously over the top, but it's perfect for the kind of videos that I do. It's really sturdy. It does great still photography. I have a great time with this thing. It cost a fortune. It was one of the stupidest things I ever spent money on, but it's paid off, I think. At the time when I first bought it, I was like, oh God, what have I done this? Why did I buy this extremely expensive thing? I must be out of my mind. Buyer's remorse immediately. But yeah, I've been using it for about a year now, and it's probably the best camera I've ever had. It's really easy to use, but it's got lots of functions on it, and it just beautiful quality. So yeah, that's the one I use. And at the moment, I'm just using the eyesight for blog videos. I tend not to use the camera for doing blogs unless I'm actually out and about. Next question. Not famous kid. What genuinely makes you happy apart from cooking? Sleep. Yeah, I must admit, I don't have a lot of other hobbies at the moment. Mainly because I work so many hours with YouTube doing either recording cooking videos or uploading them or doing all the comments and all the stuff associated with it. I just like to sort of a bit of peace and quiet, reading a book, nodding off. I'm really very lazy these days. I'm very insular, but yeah, that's just where I am at the moment. Yeah. That being said, I do love just to go out and sort of going out to a nice restaurant I haven't tried before and trying different things and that sort of thing. I suppose that technically counts as cooking. It's sort of food related, but yeah, that's me. That's what I'm up to. Tony the Night Owl, hello. I was hooked on you from the first video I watched. You have it. So few people do. People are drawn to you. You have wit, charm, honesty, and modesty. Oh, you're going to erode my modesty. What's not to love? Question. Did you ever have to put someone in their place by scaring them with your physical size? No, not that size. Get your mind out of the gutter. Well, if I had to vacate the gutter, it's going to be a very boring answer. And trust me, it'd be a much more interesting answer if I stayed in the gutter. But anyway, that's another story. What was the question again? Oh, the scaring people with my physical size. No, not for a very long time. Not since sort of like high school days. But I think, yeah, I don't think I've ever had anyone try to sort of come up and, at least not for a long time, try and come up and attack me or anything like that. Or yeah, but I find like sort of intimidating people with physicality is a bit sort of boring. I tend to sort of just sort of erode their confidence and be sarcastic and make them look like an idiot, which is, I find it infinitely more effective and infinitely more wounding. Brenda Singh Pajwa, I hope I said that correctly, I'm sorry. Have you ever used smoked paprika? I would love to see some recipes with that. Have you ever eaten Indian barfi? If not, you should try it because I'm sure you would love it. Okay, smoked paprika I use in a lot of things. I used it in my barbecue sauce recipe. I put it in a few other different things. I love it. As for Indian barfi, I'm not familiar with a lot of Indian cuisine. I'm actually going to quickly Google that because I don't know what barfi is, but going by the name, it sounds sort of odd. I'm going to look it up. Barfi. Images. That didn't help. I think it's some kind of fudge. Okay. I don't know. It's hard to tell from a picture. But I'll have to investigate and see what it's like. I'll look into it. Spazamaz, hello. Nico, Julia Gillard, and Tony Abbott. Who would you kill? Who would you marry? Who would you have sex with? Oh, God. I knew something like this was going to come along. Okay, I would kill Tony Abbott. I would marry Julia Gillard, and I would give Nico a night that would make his eyes roll back in his head. And not for the first time, but that's another story. See, I'm starting rumours again. Kirsten Duke. Whenever my knives go blunt, I always buy new ones. Is it worth investing in a steel to sharpen them back up? I recommend getting a sharpening stone and just giving them a little light sharpen every couple of months or so, or when you start to feel them going blunt. It's worth doing it because, like, if you've got a decent set of knives, they'll last you forever. And you won't have to buy new knives all the time. You just, as long as you keep them in decent condition. That being said, I recommend, if you've got like knives that you use on a regular basis, I recommend you actually take them to get them professionally sharpened at least once a year, just to get them really sort of in good condition, and then you can just maintain them during the year and just give them a proper sharpen once a year. And it's a good investment. Pardon me. I've got a bit of a chest cold. It's very cold today. I should have a jumper on, but I can't be bothered digging for it. Ghost Girl 1221. What's your favourite food? Oh, goodness. It changes on a weekly basis. It really does. I don't know. I don't know. There's been I tried this beautiful lamb wrap the other day. It was absolutely gorgeous, and I'm tempted to go out and have another one for lunch today, actually, because it was really yummy. I don't know, I'm going through a lamb renaissance at the moment, so I suppose anything lamb at the moment would be a favourite. Jessica Myers. Do you guys have the Doritos, Locos, Tacos, or Taco Bell? If so, have you seen the more absurd Doritos, Locos, Tacos, Doritos? We don't have Taco Bell in Australia, at least as far as I know we don't. We did briefly back in the 90s, but I don't think it took off very well here. So I have no idea what a Doritos Locos Taco is, or a Doritos Locos Tacos Doritos. I have no idea what that is. Dagda 825. David, do you prefer gas or electric stoves? I've never used an electric before. I was given one of those new wave electric, and my experience with it was, God no, this sucks. I definitely prefer cooking with gas. I've always cooked with gas up until about 10 years ago, and I ended up sort of going over to electric because when we moved to, we were renting a place, there was no gas there, it was an electric stove. It was painful. The next place we moved to was even worse. It had a dreadful stove, and I don't know how the hell I managed to make cooking videos with this bloody awful thing. In the end, when I moved into this place, my intention was I wanted to redo the kitchen and I wanted to have gas appliances. Problem was, there's no gas hookup in the street. No one in the street has gas unless they have a tank under the house, and that is ludicrously expensive, and I didn't want to have a giant sort of tank of explosive toxic gas under my house. So yeah, I've decided to go to an induction cooktop, and to be honest, it's fantastic. It's electric, but it's instant heat, and it's much like gas in that you just put it on, switch it on, bang, hot immediately. And it's got the added joy of it just being basically a sheet of glass. So it's easy to clean, it's easy to maintain, there's no sort of fiddling around taking sort of metal bits off and cleaning things out and all that sort of stuff. You just wipe it over basically and it's done. So that works for me. Let's see, Licho3440. Just curious, how do you pronounce your last name? Also, if you could only own one pot, what kind would it be? Okay, my last name is Chilcott, so it's just 2 syllables, Chilcott. a lot of people have trouble pronouncing that. I'm not quite sure why. It's been something throughout my life. People have always had trouble pronouncing it. As for the one pot, if I had to choose one pot, it would be a crock pot, slow cooker, because you can do pretty much anything in it. It's universally. I was using it yesterday. I was making a roast chicken in it, and it was beautiful. The most moist chicken you'll ever eat in your life. It was really just purred. Yeah. So yeah, that would be my one. Dagda825. Oh, back again. Would you do a quick tip on knife sharpening? I've got an old dear friend. It's a serrated edge blade, and I've tried to sharpen it, but with no luck. Yeah, serrated edge knives are a bugger to sharpen. That is one I would highly recommend you take to someone who does it professionally, because they are very difficult to do, and unless you really know what you're doing, you can actually damage the knife pretty badly. So I would recommend, if you've got a serrated edge knife, I would take it and get it professionally sharpened. Look in your phone book. You can usually find them under knives. If you've got a knife shop nearby that sells knives, that would be another place to ask about sharpening as well. So it's well worth investigating it. Deb276. Hi David, love your channels. I was wondering if you're interested in scaling some recipe portions down to 2. I really love your recipes, but they're too big a batch for just me and the man. In most cases, you can just halve the recipes, because usually, I know some of them sort of can be quite large, but then again, it depends on the food portions. It depends how big you eat. Most of the time, you can just halve the ingredients and just cut it down. But what I tend to do, if you've got room in your freezer, when I'm cooking something up like a casserole or a stew or a soup, I do a big batch, have what we're going to have for dinner, and then freeze the rest. And that way, you've got options in the freezer when you don't feel like cooking and you go, oh, I can't be bothered cooking today. I'll grab this thing of casserole out. That can defrost that, heat it up in no time. Makes things a lot easier, especially if you sort of go through periods of I can't be bothered, because I do myself, which is bad considering I run a cooking channel. But like, let's face it, when you do nothing but cook all day every day, you do get bored eventually and go, you know what, can't be bothered cooking. So yeah, I recommend doing that. Shani Dimao123. Hi David, just wondering, have you been to the UK before or tasted any UK food? I haven't been to the UK for about 20 years or so. It's been a long time, but I've definitely tried UK food. I'm just thinking. I'm not sure if I should tell this story, but it's funny. Yeah, if it offends people, they can get stuffed. When I was over in the UK last, I remember my dad and I were walking through the village we were staying at in Somerset, and we were wandering down the main street, and we went past the pub, and they had one of those chalkboards at the front, and it said, like, the lunch specials, and I still remember this clear as a bell, and it's the funniest thing I think I've ever seen in my life, because out of context, it seems totally psychotic. The lunch special, it says, lunch special, faggots in gravy, £3. And if you don't know that, like, faggots is actually, like, little sort of risoli, haggis type pudding things like that in gravy, it could be misinterpreted quite badly. £3 for homosexuals in gravy. But then, yeah, that's always stuck in my mind, is £3 for faggots in gravy. So yeah, that's my UK food story. Faggots in gravy. Oh dear God. Anyway, next question. Let's move on. My brain is dissolving. Jean Ellison. When is your birthday? Do you get many thunderstorms? What is your favourite season? And do you like Laurel and Hardy? My birthday is the 25th of January. Do you get many thunderstorms? We get a lot of them, but like not big ones. Sort of like just average thunderstorms, I suppose. What is your favourite season? Probably spring, because it's not too hot, it's not too cold, it's a bit Goldilocks. I like that. Do you like Laurel and Hardy? I can honestly say I have no strong opinions one way or the other about Laurel and Hardy. I don't think I've seen any of their films. I sort of think it's a bit before my time. I can't say I've seen any Laurel and Hardy, so I will say I am open to interpretation when it comes to Laurel and Hardy. Who knows? Maybe I should go out and sort of look them up and see what they do, because it's sort of, yeah, old style comedy. You never know. Might be interesting. I'll see what I can do. Violin Asama. Hi David, what would you choose to make your last meal if you had the choice? If I was eating my last meal, I'd want somebody else to bloody cook it. I'm not making my own last meal. If I'm going to be executed, or maybe I'm not being executed, maybe it's just like my last meal. I don't know. Probably something really big and really sort of filling. Maybe like a big schnitzel. I love schnitzel. Yeah, something like that maybe. That's my sort of... Something sort of like that will take a while to eat, and sort of like the people who want to execute me and go, would you just hurry up? And I'm going, I can't. I'm eating my last meal. It's like, I can't. Oh, we're up to the last question already. Good God, we're being efficient today. Plates 81. My God, are people in Australia still prejudiced for homosexuals? Oh, this is probably based on what I said in the last video. Yes, but I was thinking more like along the lines when it comes to people are more likely to sort of express prejudice things on YouTube because there's no consequence because it's anonymous. It's like when you go onto a video and you see people putting these incredibly racist comments on videos, like they don't care that they're being offensive or even if it makes any sense whatsoever. They're just doing it because they're trolling. And same thing with my videos when people sort of suspect or know that I'm gay, they take that as sort of the open interpretation of, right, let's say something incredibly vile for no apparent reason. That being said, I couldn't give a damn what people say anymore because, to be honest, I've heard it all before and usually a lot wittier. So, there we go. Wow, we've come to the end of coffee time already. Good grief, this is probably a record. Okay, so 40 odd minutes. We've done pretty well. Well, if you've got any questions for the next edition of Coffee Time, please do leave them in the comments section below this video on YouTube. I'm going to go and edit this video now, and then I can go and have some lunch. So lots of love to you all. See you next month, and see you later. Be good.